Hello everyone, welcome to Wi-Fi Learn. Today let us discuss in the topic of matrices. Matrices are defined a system of mn number of elements arranged in a rectangular shape. In those elements are represented in column and row wise. Okay, that is matrices are array of elements arranged in a rows and columns. It can also be defined like that also. Matrices normally represented by a capital alphabet and the elements are kept under the two braces. The elements of the matrices are kept under two braces. Order of the matrix is given by where m here a number of rows, n here a number of columns. So the product of number of rows and columns gives the order of a matrix. Okay. The element of the matrix, that each element of a matrix are denoted by small alphabet with two suffixes I and j, where I represent the element in which that row is concerned and j represent the element in which that column has been considered. Elements of a matrices are denoted by a small alphabet A with the two suffixes of ij, where I and j the element corresponding to the row and the column. Okay, which row has been considered, ith row and jth column. Got it? These are the representation of elements in the matrices. Next, matrices are considered in a single entity, or it can be treated as a single entity. We can take an example in a solid geometry, right? We have to represent a cube or a cuboid with the three axes. It can be of x, y and z axis, right? We cannot reduce these three axes into a single value. Likewise, matrices can also be represented in an array of values where it cannot be reduced into a single value, like what we have done in a determinant, where determinant can be expanded by using a Laplace expansion, where matrix cannot be expanded to get a single value. This is one of the difference between matrix and determinant. And also another difference is there, if you interchange the rows and columns, your determinant order won't change, right? But whereas in the case of matrices, if you interchange the rows and columns, your order of the matrix will definitely change. Okay, it won't remain same. And we have discussed already that matrix cannot be reduced to a single value as what we have done in determinant. Okay, now let us move on to the topic of special matrices or types of matrices. First, matrices is a row matrix. Row matrix is defined, or a matrix is defined as a row matrix when elements are arranged in a single row. Okay, these are the elements which are arranged in a single row and each element forms separate columns. So the order of the matrix is given by 1 cross 4, where 1 is a number of rows and 4 is a number of columns. And column matrix, a matrix is said to be a column matrix when its elements are arranged in single column. Okay, where the order of the column matrix is 4 cross 1. Each element represents each rows. So 4 cross 1. Okay, square matrix. A matrix is said to be a square matrix when the number of rows are equal to number of columns. Okay, where there is n number of rows, your columns also would be n numbers only. So the order of the square matrix is always n. Okay, it has n rows and n columns, so the order of the square matrix is n. And another point in square matrix, determinants having the same elements as a square matrix is termed as determinant of matrix. Let's see with an example. That is, if you represent a matrix with the values of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and I, something like that. And if you have a determinant which has the exactly same element as that of a matrix, then this matrix is termed as determinant of a matrix A. Got it? Same as a determinant, here in matrix also, the diagonal elements are termed as a principal diagonal or a leading diagonal element. Okay, matrices also, the diagonal elements are termed as a leading or principal diagonal elements. So in the matrix A, we have A, B, C as a diagonal elements, which is also termed as leading or principal diagonal elements. Got it? And there is one more special property in a square matrix, that some of the diagonal elements are termed as trace of a matrix. Okay, if you sum the diagonal elements in the matrix, it gives a trace of a matrix. And the next matrix is singular matrix. A matrix is said to be singular when you take a determinant of that matrix and it gives a value of 0. That is, if a matrix is a square matrix and you take a determinant value, that is, if you expand the matrix by using Laplace expansion, then your determinant value would be 0 for a singular matrix. Whereas in the case of non-singular matrix gives a determinant expansion not equal to 0. Or a square matrix, when its determinant expansion is not equal to 0, that matrix is said to be a non-singular matrix. Okay. Next is diagonal matrix. Diagonal matrix, as the name indicates, it has elements only on the principal or leading diagonal elements. For example, you take A, B, C. Other elements except the leading diagonal elements are 0. Okay, only the elements are present in the diagonal alone. That matrix is said to be a diagonal matrix. It can be of any values. Now let us move on to the next matrix, scalar matrix. A square matrix is said to be a scalar matrix if it has elements same in the principal diagonal where other elements are 0. It is similar to the diagonal matrix. The difference between this diagonal matrix and the scalar matrix is the difference between the scalar matrix and the diagonal matrix is it has equal or same number of elements in the principal or leading diagonal. Whereas in the diagonal matrix we have any value. It can be of any value. But in the case of scalar matrix, it should have same number in the principal or leading diagonal element. And we can take this also out and we get a matrices of unit matrix. 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay, this is termed as unit matrix when it has 1 in the principal leading diagonal element where other elements are 0. Okay, so the unit matrix are represented as like this, which it has 1 in the principal leading diagonal element where other elements are 0. Okay, now symmetric and skew symmetric matrices. A square matrix A, let A can be a square matrix and it has element of Aij. It can be a square matrix A is said to be a symmetric matrix when the elements in the matrix are equal if you change the rows and columns. If you change a row as a column and column as a row, the element would not change its sign value. The element would not change its sign value. That matrix is said to be a symmetric matrix. Okay. The elements in the skew symmetric matrix are represented as minus of Aj if you interchange rows and columns, and also the principal leading diagonal elements are 0 in skew symmetric matrices. Leading diagonal elements are 0. Except the leading diagonal elements, all other elements in the matrices gives a negative of the value if you interchange the row as a column or column as a row. Let us see the example. For symmetric matrix, assume it has a value of A, B, C in the diagonal and put here as some values F. If you interchange a row as a column or column as a row, you will get a same matrix. So this is an example for symmetric matrix. And for skew symmetric matrix, the leading principal diagonal element must be 0. Okay, and if you interchange a row as a column, it will change a sign. Okay, the elements other than the leading diagonal elements have sign changes value for a skew symmetric matrices. Got it? Now let us move on to the triangular matrix. A square matrix is said to be a triangular matrix if it has the values above the leading diagonal elements or below the leading diagonal elements. Okay. Triangular matrix are of two types, upper triangular and lower triangular. For upper triangular, the elements present below the leading diagonal elements would be 0. For example, take this. For upper triangular matrix, we get 0 below the leading diagonal elements. Okay. For lower triangular matrix, is opposite of that. The elements above the leading diagonal element would be 0. Okay. Okay. Now let us move on to the matrices operation. This condition we can discuss about equality of matrices. Let us consider two matrices. The two matrices can be represented as A and B. A and B and said to be an equal matrix if both are of same order. Okay. A matrices can be equally considered when both the matrices are under the same order. It is a main point. A and B must be of same order. Must be of same order. And the second point, corresponding elements of A and B matrices must be equal. Okay. Corresponding elements in A and B matrices are equal. Then only the matrices are considered as equality of matrices. Second operation is addition and subtraction of matrices. For addition, the main condition is the adding matrices must be of same order. That is considered, let A and B are matrices of same order. Then only addition as well as subtractions are possible. We can take an example. Let A be a matrix of A, B, C, D and take a matrix of B. Take it as L, M, N, O. Both are of same order. Right? At that condition only we can add both the matrices. Okay? A plus L. The corresponding elements are added. B plus M. C plus N and D plus O. Okay. For subtraction also same condition. The subtraction of matrices are done only when both the matrices are in equal order. Similar example we can take it. Subtraction is done with respect to elements. So A minus L, B minus M, C minus N and D minus O. These are the addition and subtraction of matrices. And we can make an observation from these conditions that addition of matrices are commutative. That is, we can write as A plus B is equal to B plus C. Addition of matrices are commutative. Addition with the subtractions are associative. Let's see with an expression. We can take three matrices. A plus B are added, which is subtracted with C. Can be written in an associative formula as A plus B minus C, which is equal to B plus of A minus C. Together they are associative, where addition only commutative. Now we can move on to multiplication of matrices by scalar. Let us consider a matrix A which having an element of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Right? The order of the matrix would be, it has 2 rows and 4 columns. So 2 cross 4. Okay. Now consider a matrix A. You are going to multiply with an scalar. It can be of any value. I represent here the scalar as K. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So the scalar is going to be multiplied with each element that present in the matrix, like Ka, Kb, Kc, Kd, Ke, Kf, Kg, Kh. Okay? And the multiplication of matrix by scalar is distributive. That take a matrix of A and B. Let us assume a matrix of A and B that is distributive. Let's see, K into A plus B gives us, we can make a scalar multiplication of Ka and Kb, and finally we can add both the matrices. Got it? The ordinary algebra properties like addition, subtraction and multiplication by scalar, that holds for matrices also. Let us move on to the next operation, multiplication of matrices. Multiplication of matrices are done under the condition when number of columns of first matrix equal to number of columns of second matrix. Got it? This is a condition must be satisfied to multiply two matrices. If the matrix satisfies this condition, then that matrix are termed as conformable matrix. That is, let us consider a matrix A which is in the order of 4 cross 3, and we can consider a matrix B which is in the order of 3 cross 3. The main condition to be satisfied to multiply both the matrices is the number of columns in the first matrix must be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. If it is satisfied, then matrices multiplication would be easier. Let's see with the general format of matrix multiplication. Let A be the matrix of order m cross n. It has m rows and n columns. The elements in the A matrix are represented by A11, A12, and it has A1n and A21, A22, A2n, and the last row would be AM1, AM2, and the last element is AMN. It is in the order of m cross n. Right? Now we can represent another matrix B with an order of n cross p. Each element would be B11, B12, and the last element would be B1p, and B21, B22, and the last element would be B2p. The corresponding last row is Bn1, Bn2 of Bnp. Check whether the condition of conformable matrix is satisfied. The columns of the first matrix is equal to the rows of the second matrix. Got it? So the condition is satisfied. The resultant matrix would be C matrix of an order of m cross p. If A matrix of m cross n and B matrix of n cross p, the order of the resultant matrix would be m cross p. Got it? Now the resultant would be of C11, C12 to C1p, C21, C22, C2p, and the last element would be CM1, CM2, CMP. C11 can be got by multiplying first row of the first matrix with the first column of the second matrix. So the element would be of A11, B11 plus A12, B21, and the elements would be going on A1n, Bn1. So these are the matrix multiplication. This is a single element representation. Each element are multiplied in the same manner. For getting C12, we have to multiply the first row with the second column, and the next element would be C13. We have to multiply the first row with the third column, and the last would be of first row with the last column. Got it? These are the matrix multiplication. And matrix multiplication of a two matrix are not commutative. If you multiply both the matrix, that would not be equal to reverse of the multiplication. We can discuss about post and pre-multiplication in the case of A matrix. In this condition, A matrix is post multiplied with a B, whereas in the case of here, A matrix is pre-multiplied with B. Right? Pre-multiplied here, post multiplied with B matrix, here pre-multiplied with B matrix. We can't get the same value. Let us assume three matrices A, B, C. Multiplication of matrices can be associated with three matrices. Let's see. When A, B are multiplied with C, can be given as A into BC value. So the multiplication of three matrices are associative, and multiplication of matrices are equal in distribution also. That when two matrices are added and then multiplied with the A, we'll get the distributive property. In matrices, commutative property cannot be satisfied where associative property and distributive property satisfied. Matrix does not hold the property of commutative where matrix holds the property of associative and distributive. We move on to next operation, power of matrices. Let us assume a matrix A. Assume a matrix A. If you multiply both the A matrix, we'll get A square, right? Normal multiplication. And to get an A cube, we have to multiply with A into A square, we'll get A3. Let A can be of square matrix of any order. The product of A into A will get A square. The power of the matrix has been increased. And for n values, we have to multiply A with the A power n, we'll get a power of A power n plus 1. This is the power of a matrix. Power of the matrix can be found very easily by multiplying the previous power values. And by using the power of a matrix, we can find the special matrix termed as idempotent matrix. A square matrix A is said to be idempotent when A square matrix is equal to A value. A square matrix A is said to be an idempotent matrix when A to the power 2 value would be equal to the A matrix itself. So in this problem they have given a matrix and they asked us to prove A power n value is this matrix. The given matrix is this and we have to prove A power n value would be 1 plus 10n minus 25n, 4n and 1 minus 10n. Got it? We'll see the solution. It is easy. Given A matrix as 11 minus 25, 4 and minus 9, right? And they have asked us to prove that A power n as 1 plus 10n minus, if we put n is equal to 1 here, we can get the given matrix A, right? Put n is equal to 1 in this matrix, A power n value, will get A value as A power 1 value as 11 minus 25, right? 10 into 1 would be 10 plus 1, 11 minus 25, 4 and minus 10 will get it minus 9. This condition can hold for any value. If you put n is equal to 2, we'll get that value. If you put n is equal to 3, we'll get that matrix. That is A square matrix will get, and we'll get A power 3 matrix also. And now let us assume we can put that n is equal to k. N is equal to k states that n can be of any value, right? So at that time we'll get a matrix of A power k. Now we can multiply both the matrices by using a power of matrices. How? A power 1 into A power k will get us A power k plus 1 left hand side, and we have to multiply both the matrices. Let us take 1 plus 10k minus 25k, 4k, 1 minus 10k and multiplied with the A power 1 matrix. Now we have to do the matrix multiplication. That first row is multiplied with the first column of the matrix to get the first element, right? That is 1 plus 10k into 11 minus 25k into 4, right? Second element would be first row and second column. The second row will be of 4k into 11 will get at 44k plus 1 minus 10k into 4 will get 4 minus 40k. 4k into 25 will get us 100 minus 100k, and 1 minus 10k will get us minus 9 plus 90k. Now the next step would be by doing some arithmetic calculation like addition and subtraction. We'll get a remaining as 11 plus 10k, 110 plus 100, and here we'll get minus 25 minus 25k, and here we'll get us 4k plus 4, and here we'll get 100 minus 90 will get it minus 10k minus 9. Now we have to do that this 11 can be written as 10 plus 1 plus 10k. and we can take a 25 common value, so minus 25 will get us k plus 1, and we can take a 4 as a common here, so 4 into k plus 1, and here this minus 9 can be written as minus 10k with respect to 10 value. We have to take the common values in both the diagonal element. Now we can take a 10 common right here, 10 into k plus 1, and remaining 1 is there, so plus 1, minus 25 of k plus 1, and here 4 of k plus 1. Here we can take minus 10 of k plus 1, and 1 plus 1 is here. Now see here, each element are having k plus 1, k plus 1, k plus 1, k plus 1, right? If you represent n as k plus 1, we can prove as a power n is 1 plus 10n minus 25n, 4n and 1 minus 10n, right? If we put n is equal to k plus 1, we can get the matrix as 10n plus 1 minus 25n, 4n and minus 10n plus 1. If you put n is equal to k plus 1, your LHS also we took as a power k plus 1. So your this matrix can be proved as a power n. See, we got the solution that a power n is equal to 1 plus 10n minus 25n, 4n minus 10n plus 1, which has been given in the problem. Hence proved. So this matrix holds a power n value for all n values, that n can be of any value 2, 3 and so on. I hope you can understand. We can move on to the next problem. See this problem, they have asked us to find the value of x, y, z and w where the given matrix are like this. We can use the operations of multiplication of matrix by scalar and addition and subtraction of matrices. If we multiply this value, we'll get a matrix of LHS as 3x, 3y, 3z and 3w. This is a property multiplication of matrix by a scalar. Now we have to add the corresponding elements. For adding corresponding element of two matrices, the first condition is the matrices must be of same order. See, both are square matrix. So we can add the corresponding element. X plus 6, 5 plus x plus y minus 1 z minus 1 plus z plus w and 2w plus y. So both are equal. So for equality, the corresponding elements are equated. So 3x is equated with x plus 6 and 3y is equated with 5 plus x plus y and 3z is equated with minus 1 plus z plus w, and the last elements are equated. 3w is equal to 2w plus y. So we can get the x value from this equation as 3x is equal to x plus 6. So 2x is equal to 6, x is equal to 3. Got it? So substitute the value of x here, we'll get 3y minus y is equal to 5 plus 3, 2y equal to 8, your y value would be 4. Here we need a w value, right? So equate the w equation, 3w is equal to 2w plus 5, so w would be equal to 5. To get the value of z, we need 3z minus z is equal to minus 1 plus 5, so we'll get 2z is equal to 4, your z is equal to 2. So we got the value of x, y, z and w. These problems are very simple. I hope you can understand. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.